To This Day in Grossly Embellished History, where your host, Kai Brancaccio, brings you This Day in Grossly Embellished History in this small 4-minute piece. We find it more convenient to release this on Rumble and Twitter and YouTube on separate channels from the Catalano TV channel, main channel, where you can catch Joey C., Venom Spider, and yours truly, Kai Brancaccio, in addition to the Alpha Female on Friday nights at 11:45. Don't forget to catch Joey C's Walk and Talk and the morning show, where this actual piece comes from. We host this on the morning show. We release it here as a separate piece. It doesn't work for the statistics on the main channel, so we do it here in a small 4-minute format. And welcome to This Day in Grossly Embellished History for the 7th of February.
Here we go! Here we go!
Starting today's episode of This Day in Grossly Embellished History.
And in 1301, Edward II becomes the first English king of Wales. Now, just look at this picture and tell me that this thing doesn't have 4 hooves. Freaking Minotaur!
And in 1613, Mikhail Romanov, age 16, becomes Tsar of Russia. 16-year-old, eh? I wonder what that party looked like, huh? Yeah. And in 1668, Dutch Prince William III dances in premiere of the Ballet of Peace. Okay, so the prince dances in the ballet. Yeah. Lighten the loafers. Not that there's anything wrong with that in a dancer. And in 1795, the 11th Amendment to the Constitution's ratified. It affirms the power of the states. You hear that, Brandon? Do your freaking job!
And in 1812, Byron's maiden speech. Poet Lord Byron makes his maiden speech in House of Lords. Well, come to think of it, he does kind of look like a maiden, now doesn't he? Perhaps he's even in distress. And in 1845, London, 2,000-year-old glass treasure is shattered by a drunk. Well, you are in London, after all. Who do you think goes to that museum? The sober? I think not.
And in 1924, Benito Mussolini's Italian government exchanges diplomats with the USSR. He says, you give me a nice Fabergé egg, and I'll make you some veal scallopini or some chicken salmonella. Delicioso!
And in 1943, shoe rationing begins in the U.S. May purchased up to 3 more pairs in 1942. You gotta know, none of us has a clue what those people lived through. And in 1948, Mark Blitzenstein's play with The Cradle Will Rock, directed by Orson Welles, closes at the Mansfield Theater in New York City after 34 performances. The Cradle Will Rock, eh? Have you seen Junior's grades? And in 1949, Smokin' Joe DiMaggio becomes the first $100,000 a year baseball player for the New York Yankees. Later, he became known as Mr. Coffee. I'm sure that was a lot more than $100K, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, he did have Marilyn Monroe on his arm for a while, if you know what I mean. And in 1950, Senator Joe McCarthy finds communists in the U.S. Department of State. Yeah, right! Just imagine how many he'd find today! Are you kidding me? Frickin' woke mind virus freaks! I mean to tell you, I think that people have no idea just how many communists we have coming up these days. I mean, you better buy some stock in adult diapers, because when this group comes around, it's not going to be pretty, folks. I mean, we're talking about hellfire cannons and fire them up, baby, because there ain't no stopping these sons of Castro! And there you have it, folks, as This Day in History with gross, disgusting embellishments has been established here on the morning show with Kai and Friends.
What the heck are you doing? What are you doing? I'm a mature young man.
And there you have this day in grossly embellished history. We got Bobby Nick in the house. Bobby Nick from the lounge. I love how you say that, brother. Bobby Nick from the runs and spins the hits on Rumble. And Bobby Nick's Smoking Lounge from the lounge. Anyways, we appreciate you tuning in. We release these 4-minute pieces on Rumble, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter, because they are small format pieces and they don't make sense statistically to put them on the main channel at Catalano TV. So don't forget to catch Joey C's Walk and Talk. He has many intermittent broadcasts he does during the weeknights as well. There is also the morning show from 7:30 to 8:30 typically. Sometimes we run a little long. That is some Monday through Friday. And then Saturday we have the This Day in Grossly Embellished History Week in Review. Also on Tuesday and Thursday nights, we run Kai's Apolitical Think Tank Hypocrisy. And we had a great show last night with Christopher from Cut of the Jib, another friend of Bobby Nick from the Smoking Lounge. And we got some great shows coming up. The Alpha Female, or the Alpha Shot Lounge, rather, with Venom Spider, the villain Venom Spider, and the Alpha Female, Mrs. C, on Friday nights. Sometimes Joey will grace with his presence as, Little C, so to speak. Little C has got a bright future ahead of him. And we appreciate you joining us, and have a great Wednesday, especially if you're in the Smoking Lounge. Ciao.